Berlin says he was at the front with his troops. The speed of the Red Army's advance in the Caucasus has been so great that the Nalchik area, shown in these latest Russian newsreel pictures to reach us, is already hundreds of miles behind the front. This area marked the limit of Hitler's penetration in his desperate bid for the rich oil fields of Grozny and Baku. It was at this point that the Soviets' winter offensive halted the German armies of the south and drove them back. It then became a question whether those German armies could escape the fate that overtook their comrades at Stalingrad. On the Central Front, too, the Red Army has been scoring very important successes following the cutting of the Vyazma-Rzhev railway. Russian strategy has tended to exploit a gain on one sector of the vast front by launching an attack on another sector, unlike the Germans, who threw their whole weight into the south, where at Stalingrad their commander-in-chief and umpteen generals have now capitulated. Almost at the moment, Goebbels was saying, the word capitulation is not to be found in the German vocabulary. Now, as the Red Army sweeps forward on one sector after another, no one can prophesy the extent of its winter advance, least of all the Nazi spokesman in Berlin. This is what Goering had to say, for instance, on the subject of the second Russian winter. An area which before could have been held by one company was suddenly turned into a field of ice with an enemy that could move over it. What an admission from Hitler's right-hand man. Far to the west of Rzhev, the Soviet won a great victory at Veliki Luki, cutting the railway line between that town and Novosolviki. These pictures, the first from this area, show early stages in the battle, a prominent feature being the smashing of trainloads of supplies intended for the Germans, then in Veliki Luki. German losses have been enormous in manpower and machines. Goering, at one point in his speech, pins responsibility for the Russian campaign onto Hitler's genius. Then later he asks, do you believe the Almighty led the German nation into this hard test only to destroy it? Anyway, the destruction's there, all right, the destruction of men and machines on a scale that must surely be crippling the Reich. A year ago, the Nazis said the Red Army was finished. Now Goering pays tribute to the way Russia built up her strength in the air and on land, her planes and guns and tanks. Once a German soldier joins the colors, says Goering, his first thought is that he will not come home again. If he does come home, he should think himself damned lucky and be grateful. Cold comfort for freezing German prisoners, how grateful to their leaders they must be. On the subject of the masses of men at Stalin's disposal, Goering said, they are underfed and badly clothed. Well, here's a typical parade of Red Army men off to the front. Well fed, magnificently trained and equipped, they have no doubts about how the story will end.